Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to this solo bumpkin stream. I'm streaming on behalf of CT. I do hope to add this in to an open panel later on, but what I will say is shout out to CT for letting me come on here. Today I want to talk about, and I will be turning on my camera in a little bit. Today I want to talk about the white man's burden. Now, this is a concept that is not new. This concept is not new. The white man's burden is the thought process of because the white man owned slaves, or because the white man colonized across other nations throughout history, that the white man has a burden of being generous to other races. Now, that being said, I believe the white man's burden is bullshit. The white man's burden is bullshit, especially when it comes to the United States of America. I'm a proponent of the American race. I'm a proponent of the systems that are in place. We can't focus on the past. If we focus on the past, then we have to start focusing on the future. You can't progress as a nation if you focus on the past. You can't. Absolutely not. Think about all of these great people throughout history. They wanted to focus on the future. Let's look at Rome. Rome, one of the greatest figures throughout Rome, didn't have that long of a reign at all. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar saw that Rome was doomed to fail. He was a man way ahead of his time at that time. He saw Rome was going to fall. He saw the writing on the wall, and he wanted to change it. He wanted to have Rome continue. And arguably, Julius did let Rome continue, even though he had a very short life because they, or a very short reign because they killed him. But you have to start looking at it like this. Whenever we're told the white man's burden, as for one, I'm just going to address whites because specifically it's white dudes that have to deal with the white man's burden, or the burden of white people, because for some reason white women are just disregarding in this conversation. I think we know why. As a white male, as a white dude in American society, you cannot reap this. You don't have to reap the sorrows of what your people did hundreds of years ago. It makes zero sense. How far back are we going to go with the white man's burden? Are we going to have to start claiming as white people, which, by the way, white European people, we have a multitude of ethnicities. You can't just pin it on a singular race of people, but that's not the point. How far back are we going to go? Are we going to have to apologize for the colonization of the British? Are we going to have to apologize for what the Romans did to the Germans? Are we going to have to apologize for all of these historical conversations? Are we? I hate this concept, and really the white man's burden, that this concept of that we have to apologize for what our ancestors did. It holds black people down. It holds all racial minorities in America down because we cannot progress as a nation. The United States of America, United States. If you keep pushing this divide and this victim mentality, you are going to create division. If you are taught from a young age that white people, if you are a Black American or Latino American or whatever, if you are taught from a young age that white people are the devil, that we're evil, that we enslaved you, that we got these big old nets and we came up on the coast of Africa and we started capturing you guys like coyotes, then obviously there would be some hatred there, and it's just creating this great divide. We are a civilization state. America has the possibility to be not just the best country in history, but the greatest civilization in history. We have this possibility, but we've been yet to reach that level because of the division that people produce. It is mind-boggling to me. Do you think people 100 years ago would say, "Well, I can't, I can't do this"? Do you think Germans said that they can't build the diesel engine? Do you think Germans said they couldn't build gas and diesel engines and make these huge technological advancements because the Romans kept them down? No, no. They just progressed. We're stagnating. There's just mass stagnation because America cannot progress as a nation. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about the burden of my ancestors. When in all reality, when you group white people in, and this is the whole mentality. I'll even go into why the concepts like white and black don't exist. Okay. What is the whole concept of a white race merely existed because America, the founding fathers, funny enough, created it in their Immigration Act. The whole concept of a black race was created. Prior to that, these were different ethnicities. When you were referring to race, they were talking about nations. You had the Greek race, but they meant nation. You have the German race, they meant the German nation. You had the African race, which, if it was unified, it would be the African nation. This concept, or the Japanese race, this concept that all white people, they're genetically similar, yeah, but there's a plethora of different ethnicities. There are discussions that Europeans have claiming, because of Americanization, claiming that Italians aren't white. The division is real, and if you don't claim Italians are quote unquote white, then what is Europe? What is Europe? A bunch of, for the majority of their Red Wings. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Why? They say, yes, white people stole everything from other people, right? You say this. You say this. Did they steal the diesel engine? Did they steal the computer? Did they steal the internet? Please, please come up. Because they didn't. They invented these things because of the mentality of progress. You have to progress as a civilization state. If you cannot progress as a civilization state, you stagnate and your country falls into balkanization. It happened in Yugoslavia. They couldn't put past their ethnic differences, even though in all retrospect, they're very similar in ethnicity. They couldn't go past that. They couldn't reach the level where they come together as a Yugoslavian state and actually try to create progress as a sort of new, not race, but a new nation. They couldn't do that. So they fell apart and they balkanized. I don't know if you know anything about Yugoslavia, but it was not pretty when they did that. It absolutely was not pretty when they did that. A lot of people died, mass massacres because of a people that only lived 3 miles down the road from you. It was terrible. And that's the direction America is going if we cannot get on the same page. These race hustlers, these big media companies, these people that are pushing this straight, explicit anti-white hate is only creating a division in America. There are consequences to actions, and the action is, if we don't come together as an American nation, as an American race, we are doomed to fail. We will never be united. America will fall. We're talking about We're talking about the country that landed people on the moon. We're talking about the country that has the greatest military on the planet. We're talking about the country that revolutionized politics. America is or once was, a great nation, but we just seem to not be able, we're stagnating. We seem to not be able. Before the diesel engine, white males stole land first. Did you know that the majority of white males that stole land was actually from other white males? This is what people don't understand about Europe. They don't understand European culture. They never decide to dig into it. Europe was warring with each other for thousands of years prior to even meeting a different race. That concept is okay. We're talking about nature. Okay, we are talking about nature. Okay, if we are truly monkeys, it makes sense that we have wars. It makes sense that it's not a racial superiority thing. It's a resource thing. You have resources, right? And your country needs those resources. And if that country is not willing to trade with you, then you go to war with them and you take their resources. That's the way it is. That's the way it's been. We are animals. There is no equality in nature. I mean, that's what separates humans from nature. That's what separates humans from animals is morality. Yes, I agree with that. But in a nature setting, there is no morality. In a nature setting, might makes right. In a nature setting is if you have more men than the opposing side and they have the resources you need, you go to war with them and you take their resources. The animal kingdom, nature, is not merciful. Life is a constant struggle. History shows that history is cruel on all fields. Doesn't matter about what race, racial, or ethnicity you come from. It is cruel. Nature is cruel. So are we going to, like Red Wings here, he wants to keep pushing this divisive entity that is identity politics. He wants to keep bringing about these subjects, or do we want to get together and say, listen, the past is the past, but now we as a civilization have to realize that if we want to progress as a civilization, we have to stop dwelling on it. I'm not saying forget all history. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if we keep dwelling on only the past and not making a proper, true progress, be it technology or infrastructure or culturally, we're going to degrade. We're going to balkanize. And I'm sorry, I don't want the entirety of the United States looking like Detroit or looking like a white trash trailer park. We have to come together as a civilization and repel this rhetoric coming from these large media organizations. Repel this divisive energy. We have to come together and get rid of it. We have to have some sort of cultural revolution to get rid of this divisive behavior. If we don't, we are going to fail. We are going to crumble. And that doesn't look good. And that doesn't look good. Check the comments here. Yes, yes, yes. That is nature, Red Wings. That is nature. That we have documentation of monkeys that will go in and take other monkeys' resources, beat them over the head with sticks, and take their resources. Why wouldn't early humans do that? Do you think this is so funny? This is so funny. It's like humans get so intelligent. It's like we're reverting back to monkeys. Okay? Do you think that other monkeys are going to set up these situations where they talk about this opposing monkey that came in 10 years ago, murdered all the men, took all the monkey women. Do you think that generations later that that those monkeys' children are going to be like, man, they're keeping us down? No. The, the real the real thing is, right? And if there's anyone in the back, chaotic, you can pull them up. But the real thing is, and this is the reality, okay? Nature is cruel, but to come together as a civilization state, we have to have unity. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of your ethnicity. I'm not saying that you can't understand where you come from. I'm not saying you can't understand history. But that being said, we can work in unison for a common goal of the nation. What's the point in dwelling on the past of what happened when we are here and now, and in all reality, the only thing that matters is the future. The only thing that matters right now is the future. Okay? I love history. I love reading about history. It's interesting. But the only thing that matters as of right now is the future. 1 second. Let me, I got to send a message. Yes. The only thing that matters is the United States of America existing in 100 years. Because if we continue this route that we've seen in other countries, like Rome, like Yugoslavia, we are going to be destined for failure. I want my children, right? And this is another thing. This is what really separates, on a philosophical level, this is what really separates liberal thinking when it comes to men, liberal men thinking, and conservative men thinking. Okay, this is what really separates it. The idea of a legacy, the idea of a dynasty, the idea that you want your children to live in a better country than you. The idea that you want to be such a great man, that you yourself will be talked about by your grandkids 200 years later. That you yourself will leave such a legacy behind that you will be talked about. Not only that your family will be talked about. Rome was thousands of years ago, and we still talk about their emperors. We still talk about Julius Caesar. Other people, we still talk about Alexander the Great. Do you know what those people did, Red Wing? Do you know what Alexander the Great did? He conquered. And this is the harsh reality. He conquered. He was a great conqueror, a great military strategist. He was a great man. He was a leader ahead of his time, understanding military divisions way ahead of his time, understanding how to strategically defeat enemy way ahead of his time. We still talk about him. What did Caesar do? Caesar took control over Rome, one of the greatest civilizations on the planet. He said no. Fuck the Senate. No. I was elected. I'm emperor. I'm taking power. And then he led, even after his death. His spirit led Rome into a whole nother golden age. Mike from Boston said, people now need to find ways that their people are superior, like that somehow makes them superior. Exactly. We live in the United States of America. We need to start doing stuff. How about instead of talking about what people are superior, how about you do stuff now and you become such a great man that what is superior isn't even a question. Do you think why aren't people accomplishing things? Why aren't people trying to go out there and make a change? Listen, I don't like social justice warriors. I don't. I think they're repugnant. I think that if I saw a social justice warrior from across the street, right, and she started crossing the street, coming over to me, her blue hair, I would walk across the street to avoid her, right? But here's the thing, though. The opposite of that. A squeaky wheel, sorry, a quiet, squeaky wheel doesn't get greased. They are the loudest. They go out there and try to change the world. This is my main problem. No one goes out there and tries to change the world. If there was just as many if there was just many people going out there preaching that we need an American race, we need to actually advance as a civilization and drop all of these identity politics and actually just move on and build each other up like citizens, we wouldn't be in a problem right now. But people just like to sit online in their echo chambers and not make a difference in the world. Yes, Mike from Boston. That is true. Cam up, Mike from Boston. Cam up. I hate this concept. The other question that I have, right? And I want people to answer that when they cam up. The other question I have: do you think that there is more of a racial divide in America? Or sorry, do you think race divides people more in America? Or do you think that it is more of a class division in America in reality? Not your make-believe, not your imaginary land where the KKK still exists. No. Do you think in reality that race divides the country, or people are divided more by race or by class in this country? I want your honest opinions. on that. Personally, I think class. Personally, I think that it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter if I am a white dude that makes, if I'm a white dude, but I only make $30K a year, right? There's going to be people that are financially superior to me that inherited that wealth from their great granddaddy or some stupid shit like that. It doesn't matter. Class is way more divisive. There is a much bigger class divide in this nation than there is a race divide. And that's for a different topic. How I would solve that's for a different topic. But this hatred for white people needs to go away. Because I don't think you realize the fire you're playing with. You are playing with a burning skillet that's cold right now. You are playing with ice that's going to turn into dry ice. You are playing with fire. You realize the people that you're demonizing right now? Do you realize who these people are and what they've done throughout history? You need to knock it off. The last thing you want, because don't cry wolf, the last thing you want is unified white people in this nation under the guise of racial separation or of racial supremacy. That's the last thing you want. That is the last thing you want. If you've seen throughout history what Europeans do to each other, you want these people to be unified? You want to classify them and group them as the same group, and not expect that there's going to be repercussions to that. Don't do that. Do not group an entire group together and demonize them and say they're evil and grow an entire generation, like my generation, of young white males, of young straight white males that have been demonized in the media, that have been demonized in school, that have been demonized and said they're evil. These people are evil. What do you think it's going to do? What do you think the repercussion of that's going to be? We're seeing the repercussions. We're seeing mental breaks around the nation. You guys talk about school shooters, but no one likes to talk about the cause of the school shooting. All these white liberal women talk about how it's male privilege and how it's a gun problem. No, it's a you problem. By the way, I'm not justifying school shooting. I think it's horrendous. They should get the death penalty because they're killing innocent people. But we have to look at this. We have to look at the psychological problems that we are creating. We are creating these men that go out and do this. We are creating it. It's just, I can't understand how no one else can see this. I hate, of all the people on this planet, or sorry, not on the planet, of all the people in America, I would say white liberal women are the worst. They are the worst. I hate this concept that they get to be victims, on the side of everyone else. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You get to be a victim? What do you mean? You were standing right beside white guys throughout all of history, committing the same atrocities. Committing the same exact atrocities. It's just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling to me that people can be so decisive. It's mind-boggling. Anyways, cam up, or you don't have to cam up. Come up on the stream. Let's have this open panel. Let's get it done. I've ranted for about 30 minutes. I've ranted for about 30 minutes. But yeah, we have to come together as a civilization. We have to come together. If we don't come together as a civilization, we are destined to fail. We are destined to fall. And we're like the new Rome. We are the new Rome, but we are destined to fail a lot sooner than Rome. Rome lasted for 1,500 years. For 1,500 years. That is a ridiculous amount of time. That is a ridiculous amount of time. There is a disconnect between the races, Mike from Boston. There is. But that unifying factor should be that we are American. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. We are Americans. How do we progress the future so our children's lives can be better? It's all about building that legacy, building that dynasty that pushes American progress. It's not on racial grounds. It's about how good of a person you are. And this is what separates conservative men from liberal men. Liberal men are so disenfranchised from the entire society. They don't even care about having children. They don't want stability. They're man children. The majority of liberal men are man children. They don't care about a dynasty. They don't care about a legacy. They would rather sit on their ass and do absolutely nothing but complain, bitch, and moan. That's why I love to have a drinking contest of every single goddamn fucking white liberal male that comes up on my show over at New Frontier and tells me how everything's terrible. I want to have a drinking game about I take a shot every time I ask them the question and they answer no, that if they have a job, I'd be fucking plastered within 20 minutes. Men don't want to build themselves anymore. And Boston mic unblocked. Men don't want to build themselves anymore. They don't. They don't want to build themselves. We as men have to build ourselves. This is the concept that I don't get. What is up, Bob?
Hey, I just got this streamer from Chaotic. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, my guy. I decided Chaotic asked me to stream on one of his channels. So even though I'm at work, I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. All right. Because there's another new frontier that's going on right now. You know that?
Yeah. Andre, my black co-host, funny enough, is he's running the American Worker right now. So I'm sort of doing like this content colonization right now.
Awesome. Well, you doing a monologue or what, man?
Oh, I just got done with the monologue. Basically, I went off on this white hatred, went off on white guilt, went off on the white man's burden.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know we've said it in all these streams, and I guess it just needs to be said again and again and again. But so many people looking through the lens of race, and all they see is white people. I mean, you stub your toe and you blame it on a white person. You know, you bite your tongue by accident when you're eating and you blame it on a white person. Everything is the white man's fault. And not only do I not see it, I'm thinking to myself, listen, I'm driving on paved roads from St. Louis to Memphis. And there's speed limit signs, there's order. There's a lot of things here that the white man kind of built. If we're going to look at the white man, I say keep the white man around. If we look at race,
It's where throughout history, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Throughout history, whites are demonized for what they've done in the past, but still they persevere and they build your structures. They build your roads. They build your economic systems. They build everything. I mean, every race is known for something, right? Every race does have credit. Every race is known for something. And I would say the one thing that whites are known for is being builders.
Yes. Now, what are blacks known for?
You tell me.
I don't know if that's any better. I just put my AirPods in.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay. I don't. In this modern world that we're living in right now, I cannot name in recent history what African culture has done to make the world better. I mean, maybe in the past there was something, but
I think you're.
How we are so light years ahead of other cultures, especially in Africa. I can't think of anything African culture has done.
Is it just me, or I think you're breaking up a little bit?
Like South Africa, I think, why is South Africa so strong? All the neighboring countries are weak. Why was Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, why was it the breadbasket of Africa? And then when the blacks came over, it's got me. Yeah, I can't name one. I can't name one, and I'm not really apologetic about it.
I would say when it comes to Africa, for some reason never really got the chance to really advance as a civilization. You there? Yeah, there. You got no audio right now. Okay, but I encourage people, cam up, cam up. I can only monologue for so long. But like I was saying, it doesn't at this point. It doesn't matter who built what. It doesn't matter what happened throughout history. We can take that, learn from it, right? Obviously, slavery is bad. Slavery is morally wrong. When we are a civilization state, we realize that slavery, as a moral implication and as a physical implication, is morally wrong. We all understand that. It's not going to happen again. Now, that being said, we have to move on and start building the American culture. We have to. If we don't, we are going to fall. We are going to fail, just like so many countries before. So many countries before. Like so many cultures before, destined to fail. Yeah, my cigarette's going out. Bob, you're always driving everywhere. We're destined to fail. Please come up here. Red Wing, come up on here. I want to hear your opinions. Promise you we won't fight that much. Come on up. I guess I can shill now. I'm from New Frontier. That's newfrontierusa.org. We have a YouTube channel. It's live currently right now, too. What's up, Mike from Boston?
Yeah, what up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Just I guess I'm being the angry Santa today.
Now I can hear you.
Hey, Bob, can you mute real fast? All right, there we go. Yep, 1 second,
Yeah,
Bob. It's all
I can
good.
hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the white man's burden?
I mean, it's just getting to be to the point where if you're a white male, you're automatically like you automatically if you go into a room or you're in a group or whatever it is, you work somewhere and you're a male, you're white, you're automatically gonna have to. I mean, a lot of times you're gonna have to be willing to accept a lot of treatment and things people are going to be able to say about you that you wouldn't be able to say to them. You know what I mean? Like, did you watch Chaotic Show on was it yesterday when they had that pretty girl who was like just talking down to that white guy?
Yeah,
You see that? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, that was just ridiculous. The fact that she felt comfortable doing that and that it's socially acceptable for her basically to basically disrespect him just based on the fact that he's a white guy. And he can't say anything back though. Nothing. Like he can say nothing back. He's expected to sit there and take it basically because of history. Basically because of ancient history.
what do you think the implications are? What do you think? Do you think white men are going to start just disassociating with society?
Hold on one second. Sorry about that. What'd you say?
I said, do you think white men are just going to start disassociating with society?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like right now, the way things are, it's like white guys are becoming, especially liberals. You know, liberal white guys are just becoming like soft to the point where they just are accepting of anything. Like they'll accept any type of treatment or behavior from anyone else that's not a white guy. You know, I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
I have people that I was friends with growing up who are now have become so they're white and they're liberal and they're have become so soft and so emotional about their politics and everything that like we're not even really friends anymore. Like it's absurd. Like people I've known since I was like child, like since I was like 5 years old. I go to their Facebook page and I see they posted their fucking pronouns. Like I'm like,
Oh
are you
boy.
fucking kidding me, dude? Like, like what? Yeah, I know. They're um, yeah, but anyways, yeah, no, it's just it's ridiculous, man. The way that some of these people operate. I mean, I worry for like the next generation. You know, my children and everything like that. You know, what's it going to be like for them growing up? You know, I mean, and the is that I don't want them to have to go through any of this weird this weird shit. I just want them to be able to, exist as just equal people. Have people stop focusing on fucking race, all this nonsense. I mean, it's like it's ridiculous shit. It really is. It's absurd.
Absolutely absurd. It's stopping us from really becoming a civilization, like a civilization state. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
we are a nation, but in time and time again, I mean, Rome lasted 1,500 years, but what really brought them down? It was the Roman. It was the Roman burden, because one of their practices was when they would conquer a nation, right?
hmm
It would become a part of the Roman Empire. They would allow the conquered peoples to hold Senate seats, and they would also allow the conquered people to join the military.
yeah. I hear you, man. I mean, what do you think needs? What do we need to do to change? I mean, what can we do to change things? Really, I mean, like, what power do we have to change anything right now?
Oh, right now, no, you have to build up that power. Conservative men need to stop being quiet. We
Yeah,
are not loud enough, not just for our sake as of right now, but for our children's sake.
exactly. Yeah, no, I agree, and it's hard. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Uh,
Yep. So for our next generation, we the conservative men, the men that, I mean, I'm socially conservative, so I'm counting myself. The conservative men need to stop being so quiet. They need to stop ceding ground. The more ground you cede, I mean, I hate to say it, but I look at it like a war. We are in a culture war. The moment we start ceding ground is the moment we start losing. These
yeah,
rhinos that push that Overton window more towards the left, they need to be scrutinized. I don't care how much power they need. You need people to run. You need people to run for Senate. You need people to fill these things, even if it's at a local level. Because, by the way, a lot of these 40K, 40K a year jobs that are elected, no one runs for them, and you don't do anything really. You need to start filling these positions. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like the water treatment, uh, being on the water treatment committee. Okay, you can be a water treatment committee, but you need to slowly start changing the culture of America. But when you have that power, that power is great. One of my main critiques of conservatives in the United States, sorry, Republicans in the United States, but conservatives broadly, is they don't know or they refuse to handle the power. That's why I call myself like a bull moose conservative, if you know what that means. That
Right.
Teddy Roosevelt conservative.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that people are just afraid. I think that people are afraid to do anything like that because of the culture, because the scrutiny that they're going to get from the other side, and people are so quick to want to cancel people and all this nonsense. I mean, it's creating a culture of fear of telling the truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you have
does, but you
judges
can't
that
be
are
fearful.
afraid. People are afraid to say what's a woman are we living in, like, what year is this? Like, honestly, we have a judge who cannot answer the question, what is a female? Like, are you? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a terrible it's a terrible world we live in. But when you are faced, and I think this is what separates me from most young men of my generation, when you are in the face of true evil, the only thing that you need to do is fight against it. That's the only thing you need to do. That's the only thing you can do.
How old are you again, Bumpkin?
I'm 23.
Oh, so you're a young man, man. Damn, you're a kid.
Yep, I'm
Like,
pretty
you need to
knowledgeable for a kid.
you need to get the people of your generation, like, to hear you. You know what I mean?
That's the goal. That's why I decided to lead New Frontier. That's why I decided to start this cultural and then eventually political revolution. I mean, all legally, of course, but that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because the young generation need to hear this. They need to understand that the past is the past. If you keep dwelling on the past, you cannot make progress for the future. That's why I
Yeah,
advocate that. Yes, everyone has their ethnicity. Everyone has where their family bloodline came from, right? You can be proud of that. That's fine. That's whatever. But you have to understand, at the end of the day, we are American. We are the American race. We have to start implementing laws. We have to start implementing policies that are actually going to benefit the future generations.
yeah,
And we gotta start
yeah.
replacing these old fucking boomers, because these old fucking cardiac arrest, can't drive a car but run the country boomers need to go, because they proved it in COVID. They During COVID, even if you take COVID as completely real, okay, even if you take it as completely real, they proved it. What do they care about more? Old people. The entire lockdown, it was not a new concept to think that younger people are going to be able to survive any really any sort of flu, you know. And what do? They shut down the entire country. They shut down the entire country when regulations were probably needed to limit COVID, but because they were so afraid of catching this disease and dying as 78-year-olds, they shut down the entire system and sent us into an almost economic collapse that we still haven't recovered from. And when I say
People.
boomers, I don't mean like 40 and up. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, like,
We're
you know,
we're Xers. We're Xers, man.
yeah, you guys are Xers. I'm talking like these, like, I'm be honest with you, Mike from Boston. Would you trust a 78-year-old to drive a car down the highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, like people like Joe Biden. We need to move past it where it's okay to hire somebody and put it in a position of power that can barely identify what day of the week it is.
Yes. I mean, I think honestly, if I got power, one of the first things I would do is I would make an age cap on who can run, dude. I would make an age
Yeah,
cap.
yeah. I'm
I
with
would
you 100%.
I would say if you're above, I would say if you're above, I want to say 60, but if you're above 60, you shouldn't be able to run for president. You shouldn't be able to run for
Yeah,
senate.
exactly. They can't. The person that's running our nation needs to be someone that that exudes, you know, strength and youth and energy. Not, you know, people that look like they're about to die, or like, we need to be respected. Our nation is not going to be respected if we have someone who's leading us who looks like, you know, they don't show it. They don't represent anything powerful. Like, I mean, that's why I don't think we'll ever see in our lifetime. I don't think we'll ever see a female become president, just because, like, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
people aren't going to respect us the same way. They're just not. Like,
They're
and
not.
that dude who was trying to run you know, the homosexual dude, what's his name, Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is. I mean, we cannot. I'm sorry, we cannot have someone like that representing our country. We just can't, because everyone else, other countries, are not going to respect that at all. They just
No.
won't.
And out of all of the people in current politics, who's the one that they respected? Who's the one that went in there? And listen, I disagree with Trump on several things, on several policies. I think he was controlled opposition either from the beginning or he got corrupted. But that being said, Trump representing America on the world stage, other countries were fearful.
That exactly. That's what we need. That's what we needed, really. I mean, I agree. He's a little bit old. He's on the older side, but he was the right type of person. When I'm talking about, he has that presence that people. I mean, he was able to intimidate people, and people were afraid because they looked at him and they saw power. No, that's not what they see when they look at fucking Joe Biden. He's not seems like a
No,
powerful individual. He seems like a puppet.
exactly. You guys heard of what Trump did to the Al Qaeda leader, right?
No, I don't
You
think I
guys didn't
did.
hear? He had a
No.
conversation with him, right, on the telephone. Okay, probably taking a shit in the Oval Office, but on the telephone. Or no, he was texting him. That's right. He was messaging him in some way or shape or form. And he said, and this is confirmed. He said, if you don't follow every bell, whistle, if you look at us wrong, you know what's going to happen. And he said, what do you mean? What do you mean, President? What do you mean what will happen? He said, you take a guess. And then he sent him a picture of his house. Okay.
That's what
When's
we
the
need.
last time we've had a president that did that?
Yeah, and I mean, just think about the situation if that were to take place now. Imagine Biden having a conversation, that same conversation. How do you think that shit would go?
Oh, dude. He wouldn't know who he's talking to. He probably think he's talking to the ice cream guy down the road.
Yeah, he need a translator first of all to tell him exactly what to say. Like, first of
Yep.
all, but it would be the person telling him would be some female liberal who's just would be telling him the worst. You know, like the problem I have, especially with this guy, is that I know that deep down he doesn't believe the things that he says and the things that he's trying to put into action. It just shows that he needs to be led completely. And how can we respect a man who cannot? He can't handle shit on his own. He needs someone to tell him what to do, and you're acting in contrast to the person that we knew. The person we knew you to be
Mm-hmm.
is not the person we're seeing now. You're acting in complete contrast. So that does not seem like you're acting on your own volition. It seems like you're being told what to do, and you're pretty much at the, you know, you'll just do whatever. You'll do whatever they tell you to do.
Whatever they tell him to do. He is a puppet. He is a puppet for the deep state. He is a puppet for the elite class. And you've seen it. He's supposed to be this progressive president. What happened the moment that the Norfolk Rail workers decided to strike and try to unionize? He made it illegal. And we've seen the repercussions from that. He made it illegal. He said it It is a treacherous thing to strike as a railroad worker or operator because railroads are essential to the production of America.
Wait, so he's saying that you can't strike if you're part. I mean, like, are they unionized?
Yeah, okay. So they unionized, right? They unionized, but because of that union, any strike is just no longer allowed. Even though he didn't meet any of their demands.
So you could just so it's illegal to go on strike now if you're part of an essential industry.
I believe
Yep.
so.
And Clinton did that to American Airlines back in 1996.
Yeah.
The pilots took a strike, and that strike ended in a day. Clinton ordered them all back to work.
Really?
Yep. All of these supposedly progressive, I don't understand it. All of these supposedly progressive Democratic, all these progressive Democrats that are supposedly for workers' rights. They're for the worker, yeah. They're the first ones to shut down any sort of striking. They're the first ones to tell them to get back to work. They're the first ones to open up the economy. It's just so hypocritical. At least with the Republicans, you know what economy they're going to create.
You know what I've noticed about what I've noticed about the Democratic Party right now is that there's certain Democrats. I mean, obviously there's the far left people that are crazy and the people that I can't fucking stand really, but you have regular normal people that voted Democrat just because that's what they did, like, and they were kind of brought up to do that. Like my parents, for example, and like a couple other people I know, from that generation, they were always considered themselves liberal, but now they're not. Like, I mean, I've heard of a lot of them saying that they're just not voting for either side anymore because they can't get with this this bullshit, like the far left ideology is too much even for them who were liberal their whole life, but now they're just like, I mean, they may not switch to the other side. I mean, some of them do, but at least I'm seeing that some people are taking a stand and being like, I'm not with this, like, especially with the whole push behind the LGBT community. I mean, like, I don't see how anyone could get behind that.
No. Listen, in the infant days, it was hard to see where they were going to go with this. I'll be honest with you. It was hard to see where they were going to go with this in the infant days of this. But now it's just blatant pedophilia. I don't even care. I'm not even capping today. I'm not even capping. It is just straight pedophilia. I was on New Frontier streaming last night, and Andre, he knows how to piss me off. He knows how to piss me off. I watched 4 gay men that were catcalling a 4-year-old male child that was dressed up as a girl.
Jesus Christ!
And they were parading around like it was a and they were straight up catcalling him. They're pedophiles.
Yeah,
This always fucking happens throughout history.
It's really fucking sick to think about it, that's what their goal at the end of the day is, to bring in this perversion into I mean, it's like every day they want to make it one step closer to making it acceptable behavior when that shit is the furthest thing from acceptable behavior.
It is anti-natural. It is demonic. I don't even care if you believe in God. I'm not necessarily a Christian, but I can point something out because they believe it. They believe it's demonic, and that's why they do it. That's the point. That's the point.
I'm not. I just got back from church myself, but I'm not religious either. I go, and my wife makes me go, but that's besides the point. Still, there's certain things. It just as a human being, having morals. You don't need to be of any religion to tell which the difference between, like, if something is right and if something is wrong. As human beings, if you're a decent individual, you have that. You just know instinctively.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have converting to Catholicism. I get confirmed next month. One of the things I was thinking about was all the scandal that was going around. I read some studies about it, man. The number of gay seminarians that came in the 50s and 60s was just immense. And to the extent that they tried to distance themselves from that type of activity, there always seems to be an underlying presence there that is not called out in that community when it comes to sexualization of children. There was Prince Harry or whatever the real prince is of Britain. You can see it online. One of his sons became a gay icon. The kid was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
That should be illegal, man. Like to be interfering with these children's lives to the point where they're allowing children who can't decide what they don't know if they're an animal or what they want to be which day, but they're making decisions where these kids can actually they can actually make the choice to become another sex, and and something that's irreversible. I mean, but there are people that are out here supporting that. They're in support of it. Like I live in Boston. The Boston Children's Hospital has a whole department for fucking children who want to undergo sex change operations. Like, I mean, what the fuck is that about? Like, are you serious? Like that should be criminal.
Exactly. Red Wings. Show up. Come up on the panel. If those were good things. Those were good things that the liberals fought for. But what are they fighting for now? So your 4-year-old son can dress up in a skirt and prance around a bunch of gay men? Like that's not the over-sexualization of children? What are they fighting for now? Pedophilia? You gonna stand by that too?
Yeah, and I guess it's normal. You want to have your kid in school, but in fourth grade, being taught about being read. I was watching this thing the other day about this parent who was complaining at his kid's school about a book that his son had found in the library. The kid was like 11 years old, and it was a fucking book about some erotic like shit between two men, and it was graphic. And like the dude went in there, he's like I didn't. Said something like I didn't send my kid to school to learn how to suck dick.
Yeah.
You know, the black community does not call out the bad people in the black community, and that needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the alphabet community, obviously not all people in that community are problematic, but I don't hear them calling out the worst parts of their community either. Which clearly are making would-be allies or people who are tolerant. They're very intolerant.
Yeah, there was this group called the Gays Against Groomers, and they got shut down instantly.
See, why would they get shut down? Like for what good reason?
Exactly. What?
Right.
Like it's just blatantly in your face. Like why would they get shut down? Are you okay with grooming? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that explanation.
Have you guys heard of TERF?
Down.
You guys heard of TERFs? TERF?
No.
I know TERFs.
Trans exclusionary radical feminists.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny to see liberals infighting, but these are women that are like trans or not women, and whenever they have like a meeting, it gets shut down by activists and whatnot. And these are radical feminists. Yeah, liberalism collapses on itself eventually. It takes a lot of other people who are not in it down with them. That's what the problem is. Yeah.
I would like to see I'd like to see at least. It would be nice if they had at least a candidate who was going to represent if they were going to have someone that was going to represent the Liberal Party, who at least was like an old school, let me think of an example. Someone who at least I could respect as a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like someone who I could say I may not agree with their political ideology, but I can respect them, their lifestyle. I can respect what they do. I can't say that for most of these people. I mean, that we're seeing on the side of liberals now. I mean, I cannot respect what they do as people.
I actually covered this. yesterday. I'm getting blown. My phone's getting blown up saying "Be Brave and Think" is blowing up my stream right now on New Frontier.
He's wild, man. He's a wild guy, dude.
Oh man, yeah, that guy, man. I don't even know where that guy is crazy. I've never seen anything like it, man. Never seen anything
That's
like that
why I do
dude.
later streams, man. Make sure his ass is in bed.
Like, what is with that? What brings that guy? What motivates that guy to come on and be so passionate about this ridiculous stuff that he says? I mean, it's just like, dude, you are the way you're talking. There's no one that's going to be able to be in support of anything you're saying because you are just you're all over the place. Like it
That's my
seems like
point.
you're saying everything that is going to bother people. Like you're just finding some way to piss people off no matter what.
Yeah, and he's really just straight up just black pilled. He's so nihilistic. He's so nihilistic. It's just he comes on my show. He comes on my show and he says, "Yeah, what you guys are doing isn't going to work. The power structure that is in place right now, you guys can't make a change, and you guys should just enjoy your lives and be individuals." Like every single time, it boils down to that, and I'm just like, "Bro, stop being divisive. Stop being divisive."
What was he saying the other day? He was saying something that was just. I'm trying to remember what his argument was. It was something having to do with fucking. What was he saying? Oh, he was saying that white. He was trying to make the argument that white people are not. What did he try to say? He's like even though he's like white people are not don't attack other white people under any circumstances, basically.
He's
And it
high.
was like, dude, what are you talking? Like, what's your point? Even if that's like, if you believe that, what are you trying to say? He's when the things he's saying, it's easily you can prove it to him. You can give him examples, and it just doesn't matter. He'll still stay with the same argument.
Yeah,
Of
he
course he
does kind
will.
of. He looks through the things. That's why
Because
white. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bunk.
okay, what I was saying is I brought up stats to him. I could pull up a stat right now proving him that point wrong. But you know what he would say? Who do you think makes those polls?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you can't reason with him.
it's easy to say that. I mean, if you go by that logic and say, oh, well, who makes it? That's what the people say when you try to bring up like FBI statistics about crimes in the black community. If you talk about how the violence and everything like that, they'll be like, oh, well, those stats are just not true because the people who made them are racist. And
Sure.
then
Yeah.
once you say that, then it's like, okay, well, I mean, there's nowhere to go here. Like I can't like have a conversation. Then if that's the way you're going to go about it, that you're going to disprove everything I say, no matter what. You're going to find some way to even because you can't accept the fact that it's a truth. You can't admit that there are problems in your community. Like, I mean, I don't see the harm in doing that. Like, I mean, if you want to better your community, the first thing you need to do is take a look at what's wrong with your community.
Yeah, these are hard truths.
Like what Chaotic does on his show. I mean, he's clearly in support of his people, but he's not afraid to call out the hey, we have problems that we need to address here, and if we don't address them, they're just going to get worse. But people have a problem with that, and all of a sudden he's the the traitor, the Uncle Tom, all that stuff that they call him. But I mean, how are you supposed to maintain and improve without having someone to call out the problems? I mean, I got no problem calling out the white people that I think aren't shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think what bothers me, I agree with what you guys are saying, is a lot of these people on YouTube, let's face it, they're not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
True.
They're just not. But it's people who I would expect to know better who still hold on to these Byzantine ideas of race that I get mad at. People who, have had massive experience around other cultures, white people who are well spoken, who went to college, people you would deem intelligent enough to sift through the noise of race and see that there is a real problem here, they still jump on the bandwagon. That's why I say, through all social classes in the black community, there is this anti-white virus that lives, and it unites all black people, even though those same black people want nothing to do with each other. It's a
Exactly.
hard, it's a hard shell to crack. I lost a couple of friends when I voted for Trump. I had one family member of mine wouldn't talk to me for a while. It's like,
Have you guys ever watched that channel? It's called there's a channel on YouTube. It's called No White Guilt. Have you guys ever seen that before?
Yes.
I haven't seen that one. No, I no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I mean that guy was talking about he had a really good topic that he had something he was showing the other day. It was basically about, you know how right now there's kind of an epidemic of like YouTube and Facebook and whatever, all these different videos. Just basically, they're just showing white people getting their ass kicked by black people.
Yeah, you see a
Hmm.
lot of that.
I mean, it's getting to the point. It's like, all right, like, and what's his name? Who's that guy that just chaotic covered the story the other day? The guy who said, I was like, I'm done supporting, like, trying to help black people, or I'm trying
Oh,
to stay
Scott
away from.
Adams. Scott
Right,
Adams.
and one of the things he said, he's like, I'm tired of seeing these videos. So this guy, I was watching that No White Guilt show, and this guy showed a number of these videos, and he basically was like, this is how we could have prevented this situation from happening. He's like, if this person here had been aware of, like, the sentiment that's going around, they would have been able to protect themselves better, because a lot of the people you see in these videos they weren't expecting it. A lot of times they get attacked and they had no idea it was coming. But like, just based on the climate right now, I mean, he had a point. Like, these people had been like, okay, well, I see these people. I see people look like this, or approaching me looking like this. I need to be on guard, because this is most likely not going to be a friendly encounter. I'm not just going to stand here like an idiot and let myself get attacked and beaten to half to death.
Exactly. Listen, I will be right back. I'm gonna mute my
Yeah,
mic. I am at
yeah,
work
go
right now,
for
so
it.
I gotta catch up real fast. Just one
Yeah, yeah,
second.
do your thing, man.
Mike from Boston. Whenever Chaotic reads out people, he always says, Mike from Boston. Mike, I'm kind of, you've known Chaotic longer than I have, man. But
Yeah.
how did you two link up?
Before he ever started any YouTube channel, he used to go. I first came across him on this show that was ran by this woman who, she still has a show on. She was a co-host, like, years ago on the Star Report. You watched the Star Report before, right?
Gosh.
You haven't seen the Star Report before?
Was this one of you guys things, or was this on TV?
No, this is the radio, the guy who used to be on the radio in New York City, Star and Buck Wild. He had a morning show in New York City. It was like the number one morning show in the country, almost like behind Howard Stern. This is back in like 1990 or 2001 or something like that.
Uh,
Um,
that was just when I was coming on the radio talk scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, anyway, this guy, what he did was, this guy Starr was a very, controversial kind of dude. He would say a lot of shit, and eventually he got himself banished from terrestrial radio completely. So he came over to YouTube, and he started a big platform. He probably has, you know, um, he's a big streamer. He's got thousands of people watching him at any given time. But he had this female co-host of his for a while who was like, um, kind of a weird chick, like, kind of quirky. Anyway, she got fired off the show, and she started her own show. And Chaotic used to call into the show, and I'm trying to, what was the deal? What did he used to do? He used to troll her, basically. He basically was a troll of hers, and like, to the point where he would call in like almost every day. And eventually, she started letting people cam up on the show. Yeah, I mean, if you had seen some of Chaotic's old shit, like when he used to be on his troll game, man, it was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my
Really?
life. He used to
Okay.
go on to random. He used to go to different channels in like the the beef sector, like the there's like I don't know, they call it the black sector or the beef sector or whatever it is. He used to just cam up on those shows and just say it was just hilarious. Him and 777 used to both do it. That was when they first started the channel. This channel right here, I guess it used to be called Kevin and Sales, and they used to do it together. And they were just trolls, man. And then one day, Chaotic, after he built this channel up, I think it got to the point where it was like maybe 2,000 subs or something like that. He just was like, I need to change the direction of this show because like I'm not, he kind of, I guess he realized that he was kind of stagnant and it was like only attracting a certain type of person. And he was right because when he changed it and he came on as the Chaotic Truth, he instantly gained like a massive following. Like I've never seen anyone get the amount of like the following that he has in such a short period of time. I mean, he got to 5,000 subscribers within less than a year. I mean, it was. I feel like it was even like it was maybe like 6 or 7 months or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
How did you become like? Did you just see him on the Chaotic Truth and that's how you first found him?
Man, I was on the Lapeef network. You heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was last year around this time, and he was up there, and I was laughing so hard because he was going at it with some of the women. But everything he said was true, but he said it in a brutally humorous way. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow this dude.
Yeah,
And
man. That's it.
ever since
Exactly.
then, man, yeah, ever since then, I was hooked, man. And he he has a certain intellectual, comedic way of running his panel. I do like the fact that he does welcome people who disagree, um, but he's able to articulate his arguments and come out ahead
Yeah.
without the yelling and demolishment of other channels. So
Yeah, I've never seen him. Honestly, I can't. I don't believe I've ever seen him lose his composure almost with anybody. Like no matter what the conversation is, really. Like I've seen like, he's able to direct it in a way where he can, even if the person is like making fun, trying to make fun of him or whatever, he doesn't take
yeah,
offense to it. Really, he kind of finds a way to make fun of himself almost. Like and it works. Like he used to do on this channel right here that we're on right now. He used to do the most controversial topics. Like he would come out and blatantly say things like let me think, it was like this is where I first saw the topic of does Harriet Tubman exist, and he would just come right out
oh
and say
yeah,
yeah, like he would just say the stuff that would be would offend people like off the rip, and he just would say whatever it was that he thought was the truth, and he wouldn't give a shit. So this channel was kind of like the precursor to the Chaotic Truth. Like, and it's, I guess he kept it just for topics like this where like just shit just not going to be accepted by the by the mainstream. Like, I mean, this channel would have never been able to get into the algorithm like his new channel does. Like, the shit that he said was just too crazy.
dude. So he would call in and troll. Like, I mean, that was his business. That was Chaotic's way of doing it. I mean,
I mean,
I just can't
he had a
imagine him being a
way.
troller.
I mean, but he wasn't a troll in the sense that you would think of like your average troll. He wasn't like someone who would like necessarily like just calling to talk shit. He would
Okay.
he would entertain. I guess maybe that's a better word for it. It was funny every time that he would join the stream. It was always like, oh, nice, like he joined the stream, like this is going to be interesting because he would always find some way to I don't know, to keep us entertained and kind of like just bring another because first of all, the woman who ran that original show was like damn near brain dead. Like she had no ability to entertain whatsoever. So he would come on there, and then a number of us, it was like me, um, Chaotic, a couple other people who you'll still see come on to the Chaotic Truth, like 777. We all kind of we used to go over to this channel, and we would, and like there'd be big panels of like 8 or 9 people. And eventually, Chaotic, he created his own channel. We all just left that first channel and went over to his channel. And I don't know what happened to that girl that ran that original show.
Oh man, that's fine. Well, I think he's gonna break out here pretty soon. The movement is already going his way. But I think he's going to be big.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think he is too. No,
Uh,
he always we always used to say that he had the ability to be doing more than what he was. Like back when he was just had this channel, we always used to be like, dude, you should be doing this at a much greater, like a much bigger stage. And I guess what he
sure.
did was he went to I forget who it was. There's another content creator who like does like consultations or whatever, where you can pay them and they basically tell you what you need to do in order to get your channel like turned around or get it popping or whatever. And I guess the dude just told him like gave him little tips about like come on camera, all that shit about coming on camera and like the presentation. Like he changed his whole background and like we started dressing different like and
Yeah.
it worked like a charm. Like honestly, the dude had 100 people in his chat within like a couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like when you first found him, I mean, like how many people were there? Because I remember when he first started the Chaotic Truth, and it was just like the first couple of days. I remember watching that shit.
I think around 3,000. Yeah, excuse me, it's windy here. I think it was around 3,000 when I came in. It was
Oh,
March of
okay,
last year.
right, okay, I got you. I'm trying because I for some reason I remember you from way back, like from the beginning, but I guess the Chaotic Truth hasn't been around that long. Like, I mean, when did he start this channel? I guess it was like 2002, the beginning of 2002. I guess, right?
Oh, wow. 2002?
I mean, cause I know I remember when I first heard his new show, The Chaotic Truth. I was in the process of moving from California to Boston, and that was right at the end of 2001. So I think it was like right at the start of 2002 when he started the channel. I think.
Wow. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, YouTube wasn't even around back then.
No, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I said 2022. 2022.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, you must have thought I was fucking crazy. No, not
I was like,
2002.
wow, man.
2000. No, it was 2022. Maybe end of 2021. Something like that.
Yeah, March of
Yeah,
last year
something
is
like
when I
that.
came on, when I started noticing him. So
Right.
whatever he was there. So is that kind of the early part of his channel?
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, that's like, yeah, that was like the very beginning. Did you watch the Lapeef Network before he was on there?
I did.
So that channel, I've never really gotten into that channel all that much, but so it's basically just it's basically just like what is the Lapeef Network like? What is their like? What's their angle? Is it like is it a conservative type channel? Like I never really looked into it too much.
I would sum it up by saying it's more of a relationship channel that centers around blackness, uh, blackness in particular, the problems
Right.
that black men and black women have with each other. But it does
Uh,
dovetail off into different things a little bit. But the bulk of the stuff is internal black relationship politics, I guess.
yeah, that makes sense because come to think of it, I see that they have a show called I think it's basically just about relationship stuff. It's like some guy I forget the guy's name. One of the people over there runs it, and it's all basically about like um, black men and the issues they have with black women, and it kind of just shows there's examples of like you'll have uh, like some feminists come up on there and people will start fighting shit.
Yeah, yeah,
And is
that's
that is
pretty
that is
much
that
it.
connected to is that Fight Club shit part of the Peep Network or is that something different?
So they're all kind of wrapped up into one. One guy started Flight Club, but he was with the Peace Network. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of overlap. I'm sure you've seen in faces and all that, but yeah, that's kind of more or less the Peace stuff.
they must be kind of getting to the point where they're profitable. Like at the with the amount of I mean, just looking at the donations alone that they get over there. I mean, they must be actually making like a real business out of this thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're making good money. I mean, very good money.
I mean,
Uh,
even chaotic must be doing pretty good off of his channel right now.
I hope so. I really do. Chaotic, I'm sure you're listening to all this, man. What
Yeah,
say
you're
you?
listening to this
Please.
shit, man. You can jump in and answer some of these questions, man. I might be off with some of these dates and shit. You know what I mean?
He
No, he's
sent me a
behind the
text.
scenes.
Yeah, he's always doing something, man. Um,
I'm
yeah.
listening. Give me a
The man, the legend, man. Yeah, he sent me just a link for this. I was listening to uh, Bumpkin's other network. He sent me a link for this and got on. And I was like, "What's Bumpkin doing here on the Chaotic panel?" And so I guess he's just
Yeah,
kind of
I
stepping
didn't even
in.
know. I didn't know Bumpkin had another had another channel like or that he was associated with. I'll have to check that shit out.
The New Frontier channel. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah, I'm
What's
actually gonna
up?
check that shit out. No, I'm
Yeah,
just saying I didn't know you had I didn't know you had another that you had a other YouTube channel that you were affiliated with.
yeah, bro. I run an entire political organization.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that shit out.
Bumpkin.
But
Bump.
what's up?
I was gonna say you're not a socialist, man. I wish you'd stop with that nonsense.
You can think whichever one.
Wait, you
Uh,
think you consider yourself to be a socialist?
In some aspects, not in the traditional sense.
What sense do you consider yourself to be a socialist?
Yeah, I would prefer if we had a more command economy.
Right.
hey, Bumpkin, I didn't mean any disrespect by that, man.
No. I hope I didn't come off like I thought that.
Oh, okay, all right. All right. I thought you were like, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I didn't try to come off like you're being disrespectful like that, man.
Okay.
No, it's just I just look at it like this. If I'm using a label and someone else says I'm not that, it's like okay, it doesn't really the labels to me don't really matter.
I see. I
You
see.
know what I
I see.
mean?
I don't know. When I hear socialism, I get a little antsy, but I like nationalism, man. But essentially, I agree with a lot of what you say, man.
Yeah. Like I would like I guess one sort of socialistic policy that I would implement is as of right now I'd probably just nationalize the railways, honestly. Make those government jobs.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. That's fine. No, that's fine. Fine.
Well, Bob, look at our roads. Our roads are, I mean, we got these giant intersecting highways. I mean, who built those?
The Defense Department, the government.
Yeah, okay. Now,
Look, whenever I hear socialism, I get like I get a stomach ache, but that's what that's about.
big man here. What's up,
Hold on.
Chaotic?
Oh, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
Good. Been doing a good job. Been doing a good job running this stream, or what?
Yeah, man, you doing an excellent job, man. What's up, Bob? What's up, Mike from Boston?
What's up, man?
Yeah, just came over and stuff, talk about this topic too. Also, the white man's burden. Did you ever see that movie back in the '90s, Mike from Boston and Bob? White man's burden.
No, I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, did you know it existed, Bumpkin?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, John Travolta and I beg your pardon.
What was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, John Travolta and legendary actor Harry Belafonte starred in a movie in a alternate, pretty much alternate universe where the blacks were the superior.
Oh yeah.
And the whites were the downtrodden race. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, they tried to redo that too into a TV series on Netflix, but it bombed.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it straight up bombed because there's a bunch of I don't know why it bombed, but yeah, it was like if the roles were reversed when it came to slavery, like if blacks enslaved Europeans.
Ah.
And it was about a story about a white dude, which was way too buff to be playing that role.
Yeah, I like what do they call it? Alternate
Timelines, realities.
Yeah, alternate reality. Yeah, alternate time.
If you
alternate history.
If you like alternate history, I highly suggest. Have you ever seen Man in the High Castle?
I watched
Yeah, I
that
saw that.
religiously. Yeah. I don't like the spin that they took on it with the multiple universes, but other than that, yeah, it was really good. I liked it.
Well, one critique I have of that, I mean, I have several
Yeah,
critiques I'm not going to really go into detail with,
I
but
can understand that.
one major critique I had was that this sudden, just like the sudden black communist revolt was going on. And I'm like, you're telling me the Axis powers won and they haven't completely smited out all forms of communism? They haven't burnt all communist books? You're out of your mind.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
It's a
That's one critique
show.
I
It's a
have.
show. It's a show.
I know it's a show, right? But you know what I mean, though. Like that
yeah,
no one would have even known what communism was if they won, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
yeah,
one historical inaccuracy, but
yeah.
It,
Really good series. Michael
it
Plus,
is.
did you ever see Man in the High Castle?
what's that?
Did you ever see Man in the High Castle?
No, I didn't.
It's really good, man. Really good
It,
series.
it's a TV show. What network is it on?
What was it, HBO Bumpkin? Bro?
It was HBO, but it's on Prime now.
Yeah, really
Prime
good.
now. Yeah.
Is it a mini series or is it like an ongoing series?
It's an ongoing series, but they stopped
Oh, okay, I got you.
production.
Hey, Chaotic, what
You
was
know, it's
that
funny.
thing that you watched on? You did a review on it. It was like a special on Netflix. It was like extremely it was like anti. It was basically an anti-white special that
Oh
they did.
yeah. I know. Yeah. What was the name of that show again? Oh, I forgot the damn name of it, but I did a
Yeah,
good video.
that was
Yeah,
crazy, man. Yeah, that
yeah,
was some of the things that went on in that documentary, man. That right there
yeah.
is that right there is the white man's burden right
Everything
there
is
for
gonna
that
be
type of
all
shit.
white.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
It's funny that no one had a problem with that, from what I remember. Like I don't remember hearing any real issue with the stuff that was being said on there.
And it was also funny because on there, and Bob, did you ever see that? Everything's gonna be all white.
No, I never saw that, brother.
All right, so they had this one black professor, PhD and everything, a boule, Jack and Jill type black woman on there. She's talking about all the oppressive,
Oh God.
how blacks are oppressive or oppressed, downtrodden, et cetera, et cetera. And I did some further research on her. She was married. She's been married to this white dude for 30 years. I say it's not about a bitch.
Of course.
Oh my god.
Of course.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I forgot her name, but I could look it up again. But yeah, she's
Every
married to.
single time.
Yeah, she's been married to this white
It
guy
is.
for 30 years. Beautiful relationship, beautiful marriage. But the white man is down is keeping blacks back and oppressing blacks. Interesting.
And they had like interviews with like college students. I think
Oh
they had some
god.
college students on there. Some of the things that they were saying was
Yeah.
just like, it was like, okay, are you guys serious? Like, is this a joke? Like at this point, and they weren't joking. Like it was dead serious. It just shows what your average people in this country are thinking. Like, I mean, this is what they really think. These people were being dead serious. They're being honest
Yeah.
about what they thought.
Anti-white.
Yep.
racism.
It's very easy to get caught in the weeds of the doom and gloom. It really seems pretty, pretty terrible out there right now.
I mean, you have white people that are actually becoming brainwashed into believing it themselves, to the point where you have them. Where I have a person who used to be one of my best friends, but I can go on his Facebook page now, and I see him making posts saying things like, "If you're a white male, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge your privilege," or some fucking retarded shit like that.
Mhm.
I mean, I just was like, dude, are you like, what the fuck happened to you, man? Like, we grew up in the same neighborhood, but now all of a sudden you think that you're speaking now like that. You think that black people want you speaking for them? Like, no, like what the fuck are you talking about, man? And honestly, like this dude, right? So he's so emotional about his political beliefs and his liberal bullshit So my wife made a post on Facebook right on her own page, and all she posted it was like it was something in support of Donald Trump. Like it was she didn't insult anyone. She just like made a post, and it had something to do with her support of Donald Trump, right? So he comes over and gets in her comments and starts like disagreeing with her, and she responded like kind of like countering whatever it was he said. And he ended up disrespecting her to the point where he was like, well, you people are all evil, and like some shit to the point where like it was like it was disrespectful to me, like the fact that he would come and to say that to my wife, like on her page. It's not like she was over there talking to him, involved in his shit. He saw her post on her own page, and it was so bothered by it that she supported Donald Trump that he thought that like it offended him personally. Like that's how emotional some of these people are.
Yeah.
Like they cannot take it. They can't have a normal discussion because they get in their feelings, and next thing you know, they're calling people evil that they've known for 20 plus years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, the programming's real. The programming is real.
I wouldn't mind. Like honestly, I have to be honest with you, man. Massachusetts is not the best place to be unless if you're not a liberal, it really is not the best place to be. Like if people know that you're a Republican here or you have conservative values, that you become like I don't want to say you become an outcast, but like for example, we had a sign in our front yard, right? Like my wife put up a sign because she was supporting this Republican governor. Someone fucking came and threw an egg at our sign. A grown adult went and took eggs, and I could come outside and there's eggshells on the ground right next to the sign. Like that's what we're dealing with here. And it wasn't a kid because kids don't really care about that political type stuff. This was someone at least over the age of 18, and like it's like are you guys serious? Like at what point do you like have to just say this is childish behavior? Like come on.
A grown ass man threw an egg at your sign in his front
like
yard.
I did that shit when I was 12 years old. I remember egging houses and shit.
That's
A
crazy.
couple on YouTube of people that have electric signs. So when someone tries to grab them, they get electrocuted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That'll work.
Like even looking at my neighbors' houses right now, like if you don't have a fucking rainbow flag or a Black Lives Matter sign or something like that at your house, you're probably considered a racist around here.
You need to move.
I mean, honestly, like I didn't know it would be like this because I mean I was lived in California for a while, and it was not like this. So I just assumed that I was like, hey, California is pretty, it'll probably be about the same. No, it's not the same at all. Not even close.
Come divest to the Midwest, man.
I grew up in Maryland. I grew up in Maryland. We had
no shit.
Yeah, we had a governor named Clinton, and this was in I think the '90s, and he was big on trigger locks, and he was trying to tell people, if Robert breaks in, you still have time to get the trigger lock off, and he tried to do it and couldn't do it. It's the funniest thing. But Maryland is the California of the East Coast, in my opinion. Maybe Massachusetts is worse. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't think of a place that would be more like. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've never seen anywhere worse. Like as far as we're talking about liberals, this is like where you're going to find the most far left people. Like I mean, maybe Portland, Oregon, or Seattle might be worse, or like San Francisco or some shit like that.
Yeah.
No, Seattle's definitely worse, man. I used to do 80 through Seattle. Going anywhere else, I would never stop in Seattle.
Yeah, you can basically do whatever you want in Seattle. Like nowadays, like isn't that one of those places where you can like shit on the street and it's like okay?
Oh, is it?
I mean, it's fucking
like
crazy. Yes, yeah. In San Fran, yeah, you can steal shit from there from stores, and and that's okay if it's under a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of unsympathetic. Like I said, I'm unsympathetic towards people who vote Democrat.
Yeah, because it's kind of like you put yourself in that position,
You're encouraging this by your voting patterns. when all the stores around closed down. I mean, you're feeding the animals, man.
I mean, I feel like the worst thing that could possibly happen is if that guy Gavin Newsom somehow gets into federal office.
No,
Yeah.
no. Do you guys ever
We need some
like
young
problem
people.
solve and think to yourself? Yeah, we do. How about DeSantis?
Yeah.
Ron
Yes,
DeSantis.
no. Yeah, you guys think
Um,
he's
Look,
what do you think about him?
I'll take him. I'll take him over anyone that we have in there now, or like any other candidates. Yeah.
If he would actually stay true to what he's doing in Florida for the nation, I would take DeSantis.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
You think
But
he's
I
gonna
don't
get?
know. I don't know if he can. I don't think he can. I don't think with the climate the way it is, though, I don't see him being able to win, though.
I was looking at a Yahoo poll that they
Really?
pulled like 1,500 people or 1,500 something people from across the nation apparently, and in Republicans, out of Trump or DeSantis, Trump won 45% to his 23%.
Trump won?
Yep.
Wait. I'm sorry. Where was this poll for? The red states, or what was the group they were looking at?
All groups. Democrats and Republicans. Funny enough, even in their Democratic poll for the Democrats, if it came down to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris for Democrats for a Democratic nomination, they chose Joe Biden.
But they chose Trump can beat DeSantis? They chose Trump over DeSantis?
Yeah, the conservatives or the Republicans, 45% chose Trump over DeSantis.
No. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense, though. I could see that. Because for example, I mean, we had Trump in office already, so people have at least some idea of what he's about. Like, and if people are honest with themselves, they can't say things were worse under Trump than they are now.
I would
I just
support
don't see it.
DeSantis, even though I know he's controlled opposition. I don't care. If he would actually do what he's doing in Florida for the nation, I would choose DeSantis. He's young. He's ambitious. Also, he's more in my line of conservatism. He's not afraid to hold power and use the state to better the nation. So, I mean, look what he did at Disneyland.
What do you mean by controlled opposition?
I mean, so sort of like Trump. I mean, his donors want him to do a certain agenda. His donors want him to probably similar to Trump. Like Trump was very anti-war, but what did he do 30 days into office? He dropped a Moab and continued the war. So, I mean, you know what I mean by that.
I mean, but everyone's donors are going to be, in support of one thing or another. I mean, with Trump though, I mean, like, what did they think he was going to support all their decisions just because they supported him?
I'm sorry. I know. Okay. When I thought of controlled opposition, I thought you meant he was a Democratic plan.
No.
You're talking about
that's what I
the
thought
donors
you
that support him will control him.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like massive corporations that create these PACs that push politics, give them a ridiculous amount of money that push them in a certain direction.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's not a conspiracy theory either. That's just they just blatantly say they do that. There's not a conspiracy there.
I was hearing that when a freshman wins a Congress, they pull them aside and they said, "We will support your campaign as long as you vote the way we tell you. But if you go outside of that, we're not going to support your reelection."
Yeah. And in America's politicians are run by money. You need that money. That's why it sucks. That's why it's so difficult for a grassroots movement to take actual initiative and start to win, because I mean the power structure that already exists in America with these large corporations. If you if you want to limit them, you good luck. Good luck. But what I will say is, I think there is a possibility of a prosperous Democratic nominee. You look this up. I can't look it up right now, or I'd have Chaotic pull it up. I think it's Robert, or it's John F. Kennedy's nephew is going to be running as a Democrat.
And why do you like him?
Well, he is a niche. He's a part of like a niche community. He was heavily anti-COVID lockdown, anti-COVID vaccine, for one, and being a Democrat. I haven't looked at any of his policies, but I would say that he's younger, probably like 40s, 50s, and
Is this the guy that can't talk well?
is he? I don't know.
Okay.
I hope that would be a damn shame if he can't talk well, knowing his uncle and his father. But because that's what Kennedy was known for, was being able to speak so well.
What is he?
So this guy has like he has some kind of condition with his vocal cords where they don't work correctly. You've seen the guy.
Oh
He's-
wait a minute,
he was
you're
a-
talking
he's
about yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I saw that guy.
Yeah, not a speech impediment, but he has a
He's got
condition
like
where it's
he's got like Tourette's or something like that.
it's more like his vocal cords are like frozen. So when he talks, he talks in a really weird way. I don't know if that is that guy, but
we can't have some. We need someone who can fucking can talk. You need to be able to fucking talk.
I didn't know that if that's the same guy.
I don't think it is.
it may not be. It may not be. He's a little bit. Okay.
But anyways, I think
that guy was like was at least 50 or plus. I think.
Yeah.
The guy was a speech shit.
yeah, I think if this guy is who I'm thinking he is, just JFK's nephew. I don't like dynasties, but as far as for the Democrats, if they were smart, he would be a nominee. If they were intelligent. Taking that anti-COVID route right now, if they were intelligent, that's the route they would go.
What about Bernie Sanders? You think the Democrats would vote for him?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe. But here's the thing, though. So, despite popular belief, it's not just right-wingers or people on the right that are opposing this war. It's a lot of Democrats as well that are opposing this war. The war in Ukraine, saying that we don't need to be sending all this money over there and all of this. It's a lot of Democrats too. And Bernie Sanders came out the other day and said that he fully supports Joe Biden's decision with sending them money, resources, and all of that. So I don't know. That was like the final nail in the coffin for me and Bernie, man. That little hope that was in my heart just faded away as soon as I heard that man say that.
I'm surprised that you had hope for him at all, for Bernie Sanders.
I thought maybe, just deep down, maybe it's just my real younger self. Maybe he was true. Maybe he actually wasn't an entire scam and psyop, but no, he is.
How much money does that guy have again? Like, isn't he?
Yeah, no refunds at Bernie's. Yeah.
Doesn't he have like? Isn't he like ridiculously wealthy or something like that?
Yeah, he has. I love seeing his rhetoric change, because at first it was like no one should be a millionaire, and then once he became a millionaire, he said no one should be a billionaire.
Yeah.
What
a fucking joke.
He's raising the bar, man.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, Bernie, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I don't see how someone like that could, go ahead, man.
No, you go, Mike.
I was just gonna say, I don't see how some of these politicians that preach that type of shit, when it comes to them though, how can they justify the shit not applying to them? Like, I never understood that. I ask my wife that all the time because she's like a hardcore, into politics and the Republican and all that. And she's always talking shit about the Democrats. So just to play devil's advocate, so I'm talking to her. She's like, well, it doesn't. They say it doesn't apply to them. So they find some reason why it doesn't apply to them, and I just don't see how that would fly to the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would definitely say DeSantis is the clear choice. But as far as it's looking right now, the Republicans are not going to pick DeSantis in the primary. Even though he's the honest, the God better pick, I think DeSantis would really bring conservatism right back into the foresight for America.
Yeah,
I really think he would. I really think he would. I think we would start seeing that big Overton window push more into at least socially conservative values. And because he would create that precedent, which he is doing throughout Florida, into these other conservative states, right? All these other conservative states always said, "Well, we'll leave it up to the Constitution." I mean, we don't like with abortion. We'll leave it up to the Constitution. We don't need to make a law. Say we'll just follow the Constitution, which is a Republican or conservative way of thinking, right? That it makes sense. But with DeSantis, he proved that using that political power, like the Democrats and liberals have been doing for the past 50 years, works. It works. Using that, like Florida, using the state to force Disneyland to have to properly pay taxes and not be its own district with its own regulations. That it works. You can do it. And this, with people like B. Brave would think like these guys have so much power. It's like DeSantis just took Disneyland's power away. You know what I mean?
yeah, he sure
DeSantis
did.
just ripped it right away, because that is the actual power. That is the actual power of politics. Is you use the state to better the benefit of for the benefit of the people, and that's the main
Right.
thing I need to. The main thing I need to kick into these rhinos and some of these libertarian conservative asses is we are not in the time anymore where we can just move out into the woods. We can't just completely dissect from society anymore, because the evils that you dissected from, they will come knocking at your door. It won't be tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
But it will be one of these days where they will come and knock at your door. I mean, I don't like to get into it's not really a conspiracy. I don't really like to talk about the atrocities, the actual atrocities the federal government has done. But we talk about Ruby Ridge. We talk about Waco. We talk about all of these. Those were very liberal ran. At that time, all of those things, very liberal ran government, or the government system, federal government was very liberal ran. They will use the state to come to your door and knock it down and kill you.
Hey,
They view you as a threat.
Bumpkin, tell us about your experience when you were on Fight Club. I missed that. I just heard about it.
When I was?
when you went on Fight Club.
Oh, I was just on it this morning.
I mean, I'm talking about
the first time.
The first time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, they still allow me up there. Is he cutting out for everyone else?
Yeah, let's hear first time. I'm sorry. I'll be.
Oh, get back up here, Bob.
So I heard that they attacked you, or what they say? What they do?
Yeah, man. No, the first hour and a half on Fight Club went fine. It went absolutely fine. I was giving my spiel and all of that. Talking politics and all of that, just having a good time. This was the first time, and then this random black guy walks up there and says, "Why are you guys acting cool with Bumpkin? His ancestors owned y'all's ancestors. He's a cracker."
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not a racist man. Okay,
Yeah,
Mike from Boston. It
yeah,
took every ounce of my body not to say it, and you know what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I mean, believe me, I've been in that situation too. But that's like regular. I mean, like I can't tell you how many times I've had people come up and say, especially because I've been on shows like chaotic show even like there was a guy one time, one of those FBA guys, they call themselves FBA, you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
the ADOS or whatever they call themselves, like American Descendants of Slaves or Foundational Black Americans. This
yeah.
FBA guy came up one time and out of nowhere he said some of the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life, to the point where it was funny because I had never heard anything like he was like I had never even spoken to this guy before, and he came up in the panel. He's like, this guy Mike from Boston. He started saying, I think people like this need to be slaughtered because of our. I mean, it was. I wish I could remember who that guy was. That guy was a legend for saying that shit. Just crazy shit, man. Like, how did you respond when that happened?
I just said, what are you talking about? And actually, there were other people on the panel that defended me. I didn't really have to defend myself. There's other people on the
Wow.
panel that did. The second time, I brought Andre, and this is what's funny. This is what's funny. I brought Andre, my black co-host, up there. That speaks very well. Military man, speaks very well. And we didn't even get to get into any politics because he said he was from Detroit, and they said he wasn't from Detroit, and they just straight verbally attacked him and dissected. Like, why would he lie about being from Detroit?
Yeah, I know. It's not like that's a bragging right, really. Being
It's
from
not a
Detroit.
bragging right. Like, why would he lie about being from Detroit? It makes zero sense.
I think I may have seen a part of that. Actually, that actually sounds familiar. Like, when did that happen?
Oh, probably a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I saw that episode. I remember people arguing about Detroit for some reason, and so they couldn't get past that shit. They just were talking about Detroit. They ended up talking
They
about
couldn't get
Detroit
past
instead
it,
of
and
getting
they
into other
booted him
shit.
off the panel. They booted him off the panel.
No shit, really.
Yes, and
Why?
he
I
sent me
thought
a
that
voice.
I thought that would be a type of place where you couldn't get booted off, but I guess you can.
Yeah, Anton himself booted him off because he was hosting that show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I've been up there before. I mean, I bullshit around. I'm not always in corporate New Frontier mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just like if you went over to certain channels like that are pretty much mostly black, and they're very open about their their anti-white beliefs and everything like that. They got no problem just coming up straight up and attacking the shit out of a white person. Anytime there's a white person around and there's any conflict, they just go right to the racist, right. They just go right to it, like it's like any other situation like that would be taboo to do anything like that. But for them, it's becoming normal to the point where like you even had that guy who's at the mayor of New York City, who in a campaign speech said something like, "Oh, I kicked those crackers' asses" or something, and he got applauded for it. You see that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ! Like, it's like what the fuck? Like, that's what we're promoting now? Seriously?
You want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they want a white revolt.
I mean, that wouldn't be good for them. How would that be good for them, though?
I don't know. I think it wouldn't be good for them, but I think deep down they want it. I think deep down they want a fight. I think deep
I
down
got you.
yeah, I think deep down they want a fight so they can justify what they want to do.
Or so they can get back, because I think a lot of them honestly are still salty about what happened. The fact that that their ancestors, obviously, were enslaved and they feel like that makes like they feel weak because of that, and they want they want their get back, and they want to prove no, we're the dominant ones. We can win in a fight or something like that.
You can't though. See, I love seeing all of these. I call it hate porn. I don't like seeing them where you see these videos of these scrawny fucking white kids getting beat up on by big old black
Right?
dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why are these not taken in the country? Why are these not taken in rural areas? Why don't they go out in rural areas and do this?
Yeah, exactly. Because they would run into some people that would actually, it would be a fair fight, and that's something they're looking for.
Yeah, John Doe that's been lifting bales of hay since he was fucking 12 years old with ripped arms like a Greek god is gonna fucking destroy you.
Yeah, like there's some guys out there in the like in Kentucky, and some of those white guys there who are, you probably should just not. They're certainly not the same people you see in these videos. These scrawny white kids at a suburban high school, or and just like some kid, ninth grade kid is just still has braces on, and he's getting his ass kicked by some big ass black dude.
It's crazy. Like let's be honest here. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. It's like I've never had a single problem with any black dude that has ever crossed my path. And I'm starting to think, is it because I'm 6 foot? Is it because I grew up in the country? Is it because I was cutting 2 cords of firewood when I was 12 years old? That might be. That might be why.
Did I tell you, or did you hear the story I told the other day about my friend who got attacked by a black guy? It was on a
Yes.
chaotic show. Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. So like we were at this party, right? And we were it was like there was a lot of people there. It was a party on a beach, and there was a bonfire, and it was probably like it was on an island off of Massachusetts, and there was probably like couple hundred people there, right? It was summertime,
Mm-hmm.
so it was like a summer party, and it was all pretty much like not like wealthy, but I'd say like middle class, upper middle class people there for the most part. Like there's a lot of people who summered there, so it was more of like your people who came from good families, like not really the toughest crowd in the world. So anyways, one of the people who lived on the island, like some of the people who live on the island actually who aren't visiting there, they're not as well, like they're a lot of them are like, a little bit rougher, right? So there was this one dude, this black guy. He was probably about, and this was high school, but still, this guy was about 6'4". You know, like I mean, the dude looked like he was like 25. Like I don't know how old he really was, but he's a big dude, like just a dude who I just wouldn't fuck with him, like just at least leave him alone. So he comes up to us and he stands right by us. He doesn't say anything to us, but he's just standing right next to us, and we kind of were like, oh, that's a little bit weird. Like we just didn't really think anything of it. And one of his friends, this white dude, out of nowhere, just points right at my friend and goes, yo, see that kid right there? And he was like, yeah. He's like, well, he just called you the N word, and he actually said it, with the ER. And so the black dude's out of nowhere. I see my friend go flying into the fucking bonfire, like literally. And his hand, when he fell down, he touched one of the coals inside in the fire, and it burned the shit out of his hand, like fucking, like really fucking bad. So he had to go to the hospital, and he was in the hospital for like a week, and they had to do all this shit to repair his hand and shit like that. Shit was fucking nasty. But at the end of the day, shit happened because he was white, man.
Yeah. Where's the hate crime on that?
Exactly. And you know what the fucking worst part about it is that my friend never even pressed charges against that dude. Nothing. He did nothing. He didn't retaliate at all.
Should have.
He should have. Like, but back then, I remember thinking at the time, like, for whatever reasoning skills I had. I mean, I was only 16. I mean, but for some reason, I remember thinking, like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, But nowadays, he could have sued the shit out of that dude. That dude should have gone to fucking prison, first of all, because that just shows a violent individual who really shouldn't be around, who's just going to go around. I mean, he could have killed him. Like if it was
Yeah.
just it just happened to be that he fell in a way like. But let's say if the dude had hit me where I was standing, my entire body would have landed in the middle of that fire, and I would have been probably killed.
Jeez.
Yeah, shit was fucked up, man.
Your friend
Like,
all right now?
yeah, no, dude, and you know what's funny? He's the same liberal that I was just talking about that I told you that I'd been friends with for a long time, and now he's a bleeding heart. Dude, it's the same guy. It's the same guy. Isn't that fucking crazy?
That is insane. That is insane.
Same
Plot
fucking
twist.
guy,
Was
man.
not expecting that.
I didn't even think about that until right now, but yeah, that's the dude who is so he you know, according to him, he's like the he thinks that like he's the voice, like that black people love him, and that's what people like him don't understand. It's like, dude, they're not into you being the way that you're being. Like most respectable black people don't like that's not like endearing to them that you're fucking like
Patron them.
that bullshit. Yeah, it's like dude, you're not fooling anybody. Like get the fuck out of here, man.
It's crazy. Now, is anyone else going to come up?
I don't know, man. People are afraid to talk about this topic, man. They are.
Well, Red Wings hockey has some very popular opinions.
Yeah, I know, but
And,
they won't come up because it's
yeah,
easy to type. It's easy to type shit, but they can't answer questions in real time. Like it's one thing to have someone just say something in the comments, but to have an actual conversation. That's why there's a difference between the people in the chat and the people who actually join and talk. Because the people in the chat, they can, they don't have to answer tough questions like that. They can just disappear from a chat after a few minutes. But
yeah,
they can't really establish themselves as an actual personality. They're just a fucking screen name.
absolutely. Well, I think I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds like it. Yeah.
DT, you still here?
Well, good
I
show,
don't know.
man. I'm gonna check out your what's your network called again? You said the Frontier Network.
New Frontier.
New Frontier. All right, yeah, man. I'll subscribe to your shit, man. I'm gonna check that shit out.
Yep, it's the logo that's on the screen right now.
All right, nice, man. Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out for sure.
Yeah, they should be streaming right now unless it's ended. Actually,
All right, yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out, bro.
definitely need more people that will call up. Okay, I'm ready to get up out of here. Before that, though, thank you, Casey, for the $2 Cash App. Thank you very much. Just saw that. Thank you. But yes, I just sent the message. But before the stream ends, and hopefully he sees that message, I'm going to shill now that I've done this for 2 hours. NewFrontierUSA.org. We're a political organization, a think tank. We got a YouTube channel. It's called New Frontier. It's this logo that you're seeing right here, right now. We live stream. We try to live stream daily, but we're a bunch of working guys, so it's difficult. But then again, New Frontier, baby.
Bumpkin, thank you so much, man. You have free access to this channel anytime you want. And you can come over and do a live stream, man. I know you're a hard-working white man, so
I am, man. 23 years old. Name me another 23-year-old that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Most 23-year-olds will look down upon, because and it happened like 25, 30 years ago when when most of the country went super like college, or have you gone to college instead of going out there and building the actual damn country, in the trades, man. And salute to you, man.
Yeah, I'm in the agricultural business, so
yeah.
I make a bunch of agricultural pipes so farmers can lay it down in their land.
Yeah,
it degrades over time, so they have to keep rebuying it. But yeah,
Yeah.
agricultural, man. This will never go out of business.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And Bumpkin, the tragedy is that some, like I said, man, some pussies with their little sociology, little master's degrees in some little office somewhere with their nose stuck up in the air pushing papers thinks that they're better than the hardworking construction workers, electricians, plumbers, and etc. And I wish, one day I should do a live stream on that where we just totally annihilate the education field.
Having a working class revolt. Yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing. You
But
gotta
the
start.
working class, and that's the thing, the working class people built the damn country and continue to build
Yes,
the country. Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
It's not psychology majors up on those damn skyscrapers. 50 stories high building and construction skyscrapers. So yeah.
Exactly. And you know what's really funny too is they always these fucking liberals on both sides of the country in New York and on the West Coast, they always shit. They always take a shit on the Midwesterners, but they don't realize that who do you think feeds them? Where do you think most of the farmland is?
Yeah.
They feed you. So I want these people to thank that white conservative farmer because they feed your ass. These people would their hands would start bleeding from calluses from looking at a shovel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Bumpkin. I'm about to go live in like an hour and a half, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about a multiplicity of topics. I'm gonna talk about there's this show. A friend of mine sent it to me, but basically they do like polls, but they get like actual. I have to show it to you. But anyway, the black people were proud of being black, but the white people on the damn poll were afraid to. Pretty much like they didn't go.
They're afraid to say it.
They were afraid to say it. They didn't go to the specific area that said proudful. They said somewhat proudful. I'll show it to you when I go.
Was there at least one? Was there at least one?
There was one that was saying somewhat prideful. It was like one that walked into that area of the parameter. Like it was
I need
actually
to get my ass up on that stream.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to, yeah, definitely. But I'm gonna start like an hour and a half, man.
Absolutely. Thanks. All right, no problem.
Sounds good. Peace, bro.
Peace.